All right, we're doing it. Let me go get my app going here on the Amazon side, and we'll begin. We'll begin today's broadcast. We are looking at Prime Day laptops. Prime Day laptops. It turns out I have 6 of the Prime Day laptops in-house right now, just by luck. So we're going to be looking at 6 of the Prime Day laptops that are on sale. And just to prove to you all that these Prime Day laptops are actually in-house, I am going to walk over here and show you that I have the Prime Day laptops in-house. So I've got a Legion 5 from Lenovo. This was provided for me to donate to my local school, which we're doing in the fall once we're getting all their video stuff going. This is an HP Victus on loan. This is a Acer. This is the Predator Helios 300, also on loan. This is on these two are on long-term loan. This came in from Intel. This is the Samsung Galaxy Pro laptop. Really nice display on this one. We're going to look at all of these more closely. And then this is on loan from Lenovo. I've got one more thing to do on this one. But this is a workstation, not so much for a gaming laptop. And then on the desk, I have a 514 Chromebook, which I just uploaded a review for the other day. So I have got a ton of laptops, a lot. So we're going to go through a lot of this stuff. And actually, the Acer Predator, we're going to spend some time with because I'm in the process of reviewing that one. So I want to go ahead and capture some B-roll footage. So we'll kind of do one of my normal everyday streams. But I have the Chromebook 514 on the desk. I just uploaded the review to YouTube this morning. And it's also on Amazon. And we have some folks joining us here. We have Maritrunks. Good to see you. And if you have questions, you can leave them in the chat for those of you watching on Amazon. And William Massengale, thank you for the follow. Romeric is here. Joe Tyson is here. These are all coming in on my YouTube channel if you're watching on Amazon. And Romeric says the 4K looks good. Great. I'm assuming you're meaning 4K because we are 4K now on the YouTube side. Christoph is here once again. Hello there. William Wilkinson is here. I'll be streaming quite a bit today, so set your notifications. Greg is here. Yeah, it's a little different in Canada than it is in the US. Are any of these a 3:2 aspect ratio? No. Most of them are 16:10. Many are 16:9. But there might be one with a 3:2 on the other side of things. Now, we did a live stream with this one the other day. And this is the Chromebook 514. And let me log into it real quick here. And I'll show you what I like about this one. Incidentally, the 8BitDo Pro 2 controller that I am a big fan of is on sale today also. It comes with a carrying case. This is a great controller if you haven't played with it. I'll pull up my thing here. So it runs off a rechargeable battery, but you can also plug it in directly. And rather than go through, and it has like Bluetooth on it. It works with the Switch and with the PC, and I just put it into X input mode. And I wanted to show you, and we did this a little bit on the stream the other day, but I just wanted to show you what this ARM-based Chromebook is capable of, which really surprised me. So it's good stuff. Yeah, we got a lot here. And if you all want to see something specific, let me know, because if you click onto the Amazon link, you can see all the laptops that I have on hand, which is all of these. And I have this one. And so I will pull all of these out one by one as we work our way through here. Maybe I'll do that first, and then we'll dive into the gaming on the Acer Predator that I'm in the process of reviewing. But I have all of these right over there, so I can pull them out. And Travis already spent $300. I haven't bought anything yet. I usually buy a lot of my production stuff on Prime Day, but there wasn't too much this year, so I'll have to go back and take a look. The Tan Man is here. Yeah, this year it feels like they've got some good deals, especially in the storage space. And I suspect what's happening, if I may pontificate, I think we're starting to see the component shortage start to ease up because all these orders that have been out there for components are starting to get delivered. So prices are coming down and inventories will be going up. That is my prediction. I've already seen it on the low-end Chromebook side of things. If anything, this Chromebook is kind of an example of that. I mean, this is a nice, I was really impressed with this for the price. And it's even less expensive now today. Oh, I thought I was running Raycast. I was running Redream. So I'll have to correct my thing here. But this is a Dreamcast game that we can run on this Chromebook. And this is the Android version of it. But it, as you'll see, it like runs at a solid 60 frames per second. This is not an Intel Chromebook. This is an ARM Chromebook with the Campanio processor. And I'm really impressed with what it can do. It's not, you know, for web browsing, it's not any faster than what you might get out of a, let's see, does my controller work? Yes. It's not any faster than what you would get out of an Intel Chromebook for web browsing, but it is much quicker when it comes to, what am I doing here? I'm hitting buttons randomly and I think I'm messing everything up. It's much faster than the Intel stuff on games, especially the Android games. So this is a Dreamcast game that never came out. But this is all like, you know, rendering through the emulator. And it runs great. So if you're an emulator fan, you know, you can grab RetroArch with the Android version of RetroArch and have at it. We did try it. We did mess around with that on the review or on the live stream the other day. Look how great this runs. And this is an ARM processor. The battery life on this thing is amazing. So I think by far, if you're in the market for a Chromebook, this is probably the best deal of the day, because I think this Chromebook really surprised me with its performance. And it's one of those things is that it's rare that you find something inexpensive that checks the performance box. And granted, performance here is relative, right? But it checks the performance box. It checks the battery life box. And you know, it's got all the stuff. It doesn't have a lot of storage though, and that's my only gripe with it, is that it only has 64 gigabytes of storage, and there's no SD card slot. And that to me was a big omission on this one. But 1080p display, backlit keyboard, it's pretty good. Right now it's $349 on Amazon today, $350. So it's a pretty good deal, I think. And it's a Chromebook, so it does everything Chromebooks do. And it's a newer Chromebook, so the expiration date on this one is like June of 2029 for its support. So I think it's going to give you a good longevity too. And when you have one of these ARM-based machines, there's not a lot of moving parts on them either. So I'm trying to remember how to speed up. I think it is. There's no speed. Oh, see, there it is. Okay, so speed. I see. If you double tap that, it'll. But yeah, this is a fun game called Propeller Arena. It was originally designed to come out, or planned to come out. In fact, I think it was published or manufactured. It was going to come out in 2001 for the Dreamcast. It was probably one of the last official Sega games made for that console. And the release date was around the time of 9/11, and I think they didn't want to. They knew people were sensitive about airplanes flying into things, and I think that was why they canceled it ultimately. But a really fun game. This would work well today as like a multiplayer, because it's like an airplane arena shooter. Look how great the graphics are though for a 20-year-old game. Dreamcast was great, and this is Redream, this emulator. So it's It's free. It's an Android emulator. You get it in the Google Play Store. And that's what's been neat about this, is that a lot of the Android stuff runs better on one of these Chromebooks because this is an ARM-based Chromebook. My tech guy Tim is here, and Rome Knows Tech is here. Happy Prime Day. Thank you very much for stopping in and saying hi. Yeah, we're having fun here. We're going to go look at a lot. I have all these laptops here, so we're going to look at all of them. Now, what I wanted to do real quick was just kind of show you the performance there. And Mark says you can use USB storage. You can, but it sticks out, right? So, you know, there's no place to stick a card in and just have it sit flush. And a lot of these Chromebooks have, have that storage on board. So, from a performance standpoint, it runs fine. Like we can go here, we'll load up, here's like a little WebGL thing. So this is the web browser we're obviously using here. This is a Chromebook. And we'll let it load up. And this is the 8BitDo Pro 2. The SN30, I believe, is also on sale, but this one, I like this one the best. And Jose's wondering, the SN30 input lag versus Pro 2 and wired. I think they're going to be about the same input lag-wise. When you think about it, they're actually kind of the same controller. It's just that this one has handles on it. But 8BitDo, by and large, from my experience, has among the lowest input lag wired in the industry. It's every bit as good as my Xbox controller, which I think is pretty low lag. Any high-end gaming laptops today? I don't have any high-end ones. I have mid-range everything. So what we've got, I think what we'll look at next is the Acer one, which is in the middle there. That one is probably the most powerful one that I have on the desk there. And let's see, this doesn't look like it's loading up here. Let's do a refresh here. This is a WebGL demo, but it looks like it's stuck. So what I will do, though, we'll look at like the nasa.gov homepage just to get a feel for its web browsing performance. And this, by the way, has a touch display, too. Isn't that wild? So today, NASA released their new images from the Webb Space Telescope. And this one, I think, is the most interesting image. Because before, this is a nebula where stars are being born. And with prior telescopes, you couldn't see the stars because the gas blocked everything. But infrared can kind of get through that. It's an amazing photo. But you have the touch display on here and 1080p. And it's not like a shiny screen either. It's kind of a matte finish. Jay Palema is here. Welcome to the stream. And yes, we love emulation on this channel for sure. By the way, this will play GameCube games too. We covered that in the video, so it's really good stuff. Tambian says the publisher leaked. I don't know how it got out because it happened fairly close to the release date. It was. I remember that like, wow, that's kind of weird because it was like the box. It was ready to go. And then it was probably no more than a month or two that it just magically appeared somewhere. And it was the full release version. It wasn't some kind of beta. In fact, I think the ISO that I loaded up is one that I found 20 years ago. But yeah, this is a good Chromebook. Now the other thing you can do on Chromebooks is, as you all know, you can run Linux on these. So I can go ahead and dial up my container. Like I said, the one thing that I wish this had more of is storage, because they just added a feature to the Linux mode here where you can have multiple containers, which means you can have like separate isolated Linux instances from each other. And one of the cool things about Linux on Chromebooks is that it kind of gets rid of a lot of the limitations that Chromebooks typically have. When they first came out, they were kind of limited to just using a web browser. And that's changed with the Android stuff and everything else. But what's neat about the Linux side is that you can now run your own apps locally on the unit and store things locally. So that's what I like about where these have come from. And let's see if they have some templates here. We can just kind of demo that function there. Let's see. Forms and contracts. I don't think they've got anything for spreadsheets. Let's see. But they may have like some newsletter things. And what's nice about this LibreOffice, which is a free office suite, is that it is, I would liken it to like an Office 97 kind of experience. So you've got like a presentation package, you've got a drawing app, there's even a database application that kind of works like Microsoft Access, which is pretty cool. And all of this runs on the unit itself. So none of this requires the cloud. So you can disconnect this from the internet, install your things on there, and you're good. Art B is wondering, is the performance as good on the Acer? I'm assuming that you're talking about this one, when it's running on battery compared to when it's plugged in. I'm pretty sure it is. Let's take a look. So you know what we'll do is I will kill the, let me close this stuff out. This has 8 gigs of RAM on it too, by the way. So you know what I'll do is I will disconnect the power. So this is my power cable. And now we're on battery. And let's see if that Dreamcast emulator runs as well off the battery. Rhonda, thanks for the follow. And it looks like Meatface on Amazon, who follows me all the time, is now Prime Rib Day face. Well, that's good. You're getting into the festive spirit of Prime Day. What better way to celebrate Prime Day than to have a prime rib? And so far, it looks like we're running at around the same frame rate here. And I don't know anything about the Nothing phone, so you got to fill me in on that one. Ruben wants to know, is it a full Linux distribution? I believe it is a Debian version of Linux. And you can install most of what's available within their normal package stores, but you can, or package libraries, but you can install additional packages, from other libraries also. So it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it replaces booting up Linux directly, but if you wanted to poke around with it, it's pretty cool. Neuropilot says, I didn't realize how much I use the touchscreen on my Chromebook, trying to get another Lenovo laptop with a touchscreen to run Ubuntu. Yeah, it's funny too. I've been using the touchscreen a lot more than, even on my Windows laptop. I've got a Surface Laptop Go, and I use that quite a bit. Yeah, and this is another thing. Microsoft's been struggling here too, because I think what's driven adoption in the consumer space is that Chromebooks became so prevalent in schools. So my kids get issued a Chromebook at their school. So for them, it's like, they can pick it up. And we know what's cool about having your own Chromebook. So let's say your school issues you a Chromebook. You can log in to your school account and everything is right where it was left. So my kids can pop onto this Chromebook, onto the other one we have upstairs, and then when they start school again in the fall, their school-issued Chromebooks, everything just syncs up. The Linux stuff doesn't. So if you are doing the Linux stuff, you need to make accommodations. But also, when they're logged in, what's neat about how these work is that when they're logged in to their school account on the Chromebook, that account inherits everything that the school restricts and allows. So they can't do Linux on the school account. But if they log out and then log into their Google account, then they can. And the Chromebook just kind of, inherits whatever limitations are there. It looks like the performance here is about the same on battery. I think there might be some tweaks for it in the settings, but it looks like it's performing about the same, at least for this emulator. This is a pretty, this is not an easy task for an ARM-based Chromebook to do. So this chip on this one, I think, is really good, and the power efficiency is very nice on this too from a battery life perspective. I want to welcome Spoon, Gman98, and Vivian, who are following me on Amazon. Thanks for the follow. I'll be on and off all day here today. And Christoph says the iPads are still big in the younger grades. What's funny is my kids, really gravitated to iPads more than anything else. I had tried Android tablets with them. I tried the Fire tablets, and they always go back to the iPad. There's something about the interface that appeals to kids a bit more. And we do use iPads at our local school for specific things. And there are areas where the iPads are better, but they're a lot more expensive. However, the entry-level iPad, like the one they just call iPad, is actually really powerful compared to a lot of these Chromebooks, just that you have to attach keyboards and everything else to it. Jolt Dude grabbed a Luna controller. I should get one, because now I've got the Prime thing, so I'm eager to see how that works from a thing there. And Jolt Dude reminds us that it is a Debian container. Nero remembers Office 97. Yeah, I think that was like that was the pre-ribbon interface, which I always liked Office 97 better. And someone is dual booting Chromebooks. You could, yeah, there was always a way where you could shoehorn it in, but it doesn't always work on every type. They really lock these things down. You can't even install like the other Chrome OS on it. I did get my mom's old Chromebook that I had given her a number of years ago. I'm going to try to see if I can install Chrome, what is it, that new version of Chrome that we looked at the other day. We're going to try that out. And there is a Linux backup utility in Chrome OS. That's right, because you need to back up your container for sure. Grayson Petty is here. What do I think of? Yeah, it looks pretty cool. So are you in the car right now, Grayson? Because I saw that it was in your vehicle. So Grayson had tweeted me earlier, and thank you, by the way, for the super chat. Grayson had tweeted me earlier with a setup. He's got a huge screen in the back of his car there for doing all sorts of cool stuff. All right, let's see here. John Ellis on YT chat. So new name. Got it. Is that you parachuting? If you're a pilot, I hope it wasn't an unexpected parachuting. All right. Let's go and, yeah, so I think we'll kind of move on to our next one here. And maybe we'll look at like the next good deal that I see out there. So let's put this one away for a minute. And I'll go grab a Windows laptop now. We're going to look at the Samsung Galaxy Book. And I have a pen for this. I don't know what happened to it. So let me go grab it real quick, and we will boot it up. This one came in on loan from Intel. And I've been trying to get it back to them. But meanwhile, it's been actually handy to have this thing around. So we're going to grab it here, swap them out, and we'll put this one back up here so we have a little continuity. And we'll boot this sucker up. I just upgraded this one to Windows 11 this morning, so it matches what you would get on a purchase. And let's plug her in. What's nice is that all these laptops use the same power now for the most part. They're all USB-C. So I've got my Apple power supply down there. Now this one I reviewed a few months ago, and the biggest selling point on this one by far is the display on this. It is a beautiful display. Well, let me run upstairs and get something real quick. Hang on. I got to grab a hard drive. Stand by. Because one of the things that I always keep around are these hard drives, because they're really handy. And these are there's a lot of good deals on storage today. So for example, this is the 2 terabyte SanDisk thing. You know what I use these for is for gaming, because I can install Steam games on here, and then I can move the hard drive around to different computers without having to re-download everything. So that's been really, really helpful. All right. And oh, that's interesting. So Travis is running, used to dual boot, but now he uses VirtualBox. So you virtualize your Linux installation. I'm going to be doing a lot more with Linux soon because I'm doing more of this ham radio stuff, and all the ham stuff is on the Linux side. And Grayson's in the car. You must have a long ride ahead of you. And thankfully, yeah, you're in the back seat, so I'm glad this is working. So it's like 4G. I'm guessing you're not watching it in 4K then, right? Now, Christoph is making us all feel old. He remembers liking iPads in the 5th grade. Oh, my goodness. So I got my first iPad when it came out. In what year was that? That was like 2008? It was like a year or two after the phone, right? But I got the original one. In fact, I did a live stream the day it showed up. And its release was such a big deal that back then, UPS never delivered on Sundays, but that day they did. And we had a live stream waiting for it to show up, and then we did a little live stream. I wish I still had the recording. I don't know what I live streamed it on. I don't think it was on YouTube. I'll have to look. Maybe it is on YouTube. That would be kind of fun. I did a multi-camera live stream with my Mac. Didn't work out awesome, but it did work, which was fun. Yeah, so the Crucials are on sale. Another one that's on sale are Buffalo drives. They actually have, Buffalo's got an SSD that fits, that's like a little stick. I have it in my car. So my Tesla has a camera system, you know, it has a camera system that it also works as a dashboard camera essentially. So I have the Buffalo drive, it's a little USB stick, but it's SSD speeds in the car. And those aren't too expensive. But yeah, there's a lot of good storage on sale. So that's why I like these things, because first of all, this thing's rugged as all heck. And I do all my video editing on them. So this one in particular, this one is what I edit my videos on right now. And so I can move it around to different computers. The performance is great. The one issue with this one, this is the Extreme Pro. And it supports, to get its full, it can do like the USB 2x2 standard, which is, believe it or not as supported as much as the 20 gigabit Thunderbolt derived standard. So it'd be rare to get the full performance out of this, but honestly, the USB 3.2 speeds on this is more than enough. AD Brown is joining us on Amazon. Welcome. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, we've got a lot of laptops here. We're going through them all one by one. We're on number 2 right now. And this is, let me log into it real quick. This is the Samsung Pro machine. It's got a really nice display. This has got like an OLED screen. This is actually a pretty good price. So normally, I feel like I'm a Home Shopping Club salesman here. I'm trying not to be, but this is actually a good deal. So this is normally $1,300, and today it is $879. And I'm pretty sure that this one, let me take a look here. I am pretty sure that this one has the i7. I know the one I have here has the i7. So you get, yes, the i7 version, 16 gigs of RAM. Yeah, this is exactly the one I have, 512 gigabyte SSD. It's really nice, and it's very thin. And if you like Samsung products, I think you'll like this one. So they managed to squeeze a lot in here. Now this one's a little bit different. This one has 2 Thunderbolt ports. It looks like the one on screen here. Oh, this is like their laptop version. Okay, so this is similar to it, but this is the 2-in-1 version. So this is a little bit different. Nonetheless, everything else is the same. So you got the OLED display on it. It looks great. What's nice is, yeah, the AMOLED display. And what's nice about the OLED is that when you're watching movies and stuff on it, the black levels are awesome. So it's really, really nice. Does this one have Thunderbolt? Let's see. I think it does. I'm pretty sure it does. Let's see if I can find the system specs on this thing. But it performs remarkably well. You know what we'll do is we'll boot up Red Dead Redemption 2 on it real quick so you can get a feel for that. Let me find my cable to connect my hard drive, and we'll demo that real quick. But yeah, this one's great. If you like a nice OLED display on a PC, I don't think you can find one for that price anywhere, except on Amazon. And if you like Samsung computers or Samsung anything, I think you'll like the way this one feels. It does have some like Samsung software that loads up on it. It's not too intrusive, and of course you could always get rid of that. Where did my thing go? I'll have to find it. I was looking for my cable to attach my hard drive here. Let me go find that real quick. But yeah, the Galaxy books are really good. And we'll do a little preview of its performance, and then we'll move on to something else. Now these have the Intel Evo chip on board, and these are good for a lot of graphical tasks. In fact, people are surprised to hear this, but the i7 Evos actually outperform a lot of the AMD stuff. So this is my Steam drive here. I'm just going to attach it. And we've got our controller here that I'll plug into the other port. I'm plugging the controller in just to save time. But also you get lower latency if you plug the controller in directly. That often helps a lot. All right, so let's go over to Steam. And the only thing, if you're a typer, that I noticed on these is that because it's so thin, the key travel is very narrow, is very shallow on this. So that's one thing to keep in mind. All right. Oh wow, you flew an Su-29M. Holy mackerel. That is cool. Oh, and Ron G wants to know any cards on sale that I would recommend. Yeah, I would look for, I'm pretty sure all the SanDisk cards are on sale. Let me take a look and see what we've got here. So SanDisk Extreme, we'll do a search of Prime Day. One of the things, here, let me see if I can add without totally screwing up my system here. If I drop out, I will be right back. Hopefully this doesn't crash my system. We are good, okay. So one of the things that I recommend that you do when you're on Amazon, oh boy, that's tiny, hang on, let me rejigger my display here, is if you go on the home page, you can search by all right, hang on a second here. So why is that? Show all resolutions, right? We're at 3840. Yeeks. All right, there we go. You can search by Prime Day sales. So if I go over to the thing here, and you see where it says Prime Day, and if you search for, oops, if you search for, let's say, SanDisk Extreme SD card, you'll see all the things that are on sale. What you want to look for, by the way, that's a pretty good, I may get one of these, 150 bucks for the A2 1 terabyte drive. That's a good deal. You want to look for, especially if you are using a gaming laptop and you want to install games on it. So for example, this laptop has an SD card slot on it. And what you can do is actually load games, just like I am off the external drive here, you could load games on the SD card. And the A rating is how well the card is able to handle random reads and writes. And random reads and writes are what a game console or a gaming computer would typically require. So as we discussed in the review that I did of the Steam Deck, having the A2 rating is really critical. So that is something to keep in mind. All right, let's see what we've got here. Got a lot of comments. I'm missing so much. April of 2010 was the iPad release date, according to Bryant here. That's right. So that was a while ago. I don't buy iPads as often as I buy other stuff. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm just going through all of my comments here. Yeah, the Buffalo USB is a nicely performing drive. Like I said, I just stick it in my car and it just records stuff. Have I seen the small? I have not seen that yet. I would like to find one of those. I'll reach out to them. They usually send me those to review, so I'd love to look at that. And Grayson's using T-Mobile Magenta Max, so you can use his phone as his mobile hotspot. YouTube on Firefox is better than YouTube on Android. I would say that's probably the case, especially on a Chromebook if you're using one of those. Thank you for the super chat from Keith Robinson. That's right. Optimus Prime died for all of us. That's right. And yeah, not everything's on sale, Grayson, too, so I think a lot of the LG stuff is difficult. And yeah, if you're happy with what you got, like I'm pretty happy with my Mac here. Mark A was wondering, what was the airplane game? So that was a Dreamcast game called Propeller Arena, which never was released. It was really kind of a hidden gem that never became a hidden gem. All right, let me go add my folder here, and then we'll see how Red Dead works on one of these things here. So what I need to do, usually it asks me to create or select a new. Hang on a second, let me see what's going on with this real quick. Oh, device I/O error. Didn't like that. Okay, let's try this again. And we'll plug this in and see if we can get my games to load up. Hopefully this drive isn't bad, because that would make this a very short stream. I might switch to a different. I might move some ports around here. Let's move this to the other side. Maybe that might. Oops. Yeah, let's move this and this. We'll move this over here. Yeah, the one thing about this Samsung is it's been acting up a little bit. And I think I might just have to kind of reinstall everything. And sometimes, like this one has its like Thunderbolt split from its other stuff, so it gets a little complicated sometimes with these things. All right, so now I got everything plugged back in. So let's go to our Steam library folders. Everything came up already. Perfect. Okay. So I've got Red Dead 2 on here, and we can just load this up here real quick. And we'll see how it performs on this processor. This is configured just like the one that is for sale today. And this is a little bit of a variant of the one that's on sale, but I think it's a good deal. And you'll see what the i7 can do. And this is the 11th generation chip on this one. Top plane, the SU-29. Wow. At least he got out, right? It's an aerobatic aircraft. You must get some serious G-forces on that. All right, so we'll load up Red Dead here and see how it runs. Now we still have over there, I've got the Lenovo Legion 5. I got a different color than what they're selling, but it's the same laptop. And then I've got the ThinkPad P15, which is a mobile workstation. And we also have the Acer Predator Helios, which I think we'll do next, because I need to capture some game footage for my, for my video that I'm working on. And yeah, the i7s with the Evo have really good onboard video. I think the new AMD Ryzens will probably catch up to it, but we're getting there. Amanda Brown wants to know, what was my opinion of the AMD Surface 4? I don't think I've looked at that one, but I would say it probably performs well. I don't know what chip it has on board. All right, we're almost there. So Joltud says a friend of his got to fly a Pitts biplane. That must have been exciting. My most exciting aviation experience was getting to ride up front in a Cessna Citation. That was pretty cool. But this jet didn't have auto throttles on it, so you had to keep an eye a whole time on the engine performance to make sure you weren't spinning them too hard. All right, so now we're going to be running this game. I got to go back in and adjust the settings because the settings synchronize between my different computers. I think actually we might be okay because I just got done reviewing a laptop yesterday and I had it set to 1080p at the lowest setting, so I think we might be okay here. So we'll see when this comes up. And we've got the 8-bit DOE controller once again. By far, and I've bought these in the past too, by far my favorite controller, just because it's so flexible. It works with everything. And it's got a good D-pad. All right, so here we are. And let me see if I can get a frame counter up here. That's the one thing I struggle with, is getting the frames per second counter. So generally, when I'm able to get it up, this usually runs at about 25 to 30 frames per second, and that's about what I'm experiencing here. And this is lowest settings, 1080p, but there's no GPU in this thing. This is just the native Intel. And it's amazing just how good this performs. I really need to get into this game. It looks so immersive. There's so much going on. So the visual quality, obviously has been turned down quite a bit. But what's great is that there was a time when you were buying a laptop like this, you couldn't play these games. Like there was no, there was no way these games would ever run. And then when AMD started getting more aggressive with their chips, suddenly Intel's like, we got to do something about this. So Intel's been staying kind of a step ahead of AMD for the most part in overall graphics performance. But a good preview of what's to come is the Steam Deck. So for example, this game runs just over 30 frames per second on the Steam Deck. Now that's at a lower resolution, but still, like it is very, very playable on the Steam Deck. And as you can see here, it's very, very playable here. It's not going to run like your gaming laptop would run it at, but it is. It's going to run it great. And Ruben says, yeah, I think the price here without the price that they're selling it at, I think is a really good deal. But yeah, you're right. But here's, and I bring this up in my latest video also. So the way I look at it, when you're shopping for a PC, there are three main components on a laptop. Maybe there's arguably more, but let's stick to like the basics, right? Battery life, performance, and thin and light. That seems to be like the top level kind of thing. You could argue display quality is there too, which I would say is important. And the OLED display looks great on this thing. But when you look at like thin and light, which this is, great battery life, which this has, at least for its processor, and performance. This checks all three boxes. And if all three boxes are checked, the price goes way up. Like my MacBook, I have the MacBook Pro, the 14-inch one. I paid a fortune for this thing. Why? Performance, battery life, and relative portability. That's kind of how it plays out. So that's why like this one I thought was a really good deal today, because at that price for this performance, great deal, under $1,000. Probably the best deal on Amazon today right now. So that's why I wanted to get this one on the desk today, because I think it's a good deal. All right. And Neuropilot's friend did a Red Dead Redemption 2 playthrough. That must have taken him forever. This game is like, it's deep, deep, deep. I play it long enough to show it for my review videos, and that's kind of it. All right, so now we're going to go grab the Predator Helios 300, which is over there in the pile of laptops. So let's do a switcheroo here. And that one requires its own power supply because it is running with a discrete GPU. This is going to be the most powerful one that we have to look at today. And I have some homework to do, which is why we're going to spend a little more time with this one perhaps than we did with the other ones. So this is it here. I feel like I have like a store now. I set up a table and everything. So we'll put the Samsung back here. By the way, the other thing I like about this Samsung is that when you lift it up, the keyboard doesn't come with it. All right, so let's grab this, and we'll get this going. Now this is an Intel-based machine. I believe this has a i7. Yeah, this is a 12th. Let me get the specs on this one before I start misspeaking. Let's plug her in first. All right. Okay. So this one is a big boy. It's about 5 pounds, give or take. It's got Thunderbolt on board. It's a 15-inch laptop. Has a 144 hertz display. And the only thing that bugs me about it is it's got this turbo button on here. We actually took this apart the other day on a live stream if you were watching. What do we got for ports on this side? I got to go with the other USB. So let's grab a switcheroo here. I've got another cable. I have cables for every purpose. So we are going to grab so here I've got a Anchor USB-C to USB-A. So we're going to do the old switcheroo here. And we'll plug the controller in. And I'm plugging it in just because it's easier than pairing it up every time. And then on the back is where the power connects. I'll give you the overhead here. So the power connects here. Now this one's got this turbo button, but listen to this horrible noise it makes. It goes bonkers on the fans. It's just like there's no variability. So what it does is it overclocks the processor and then just blasts the fan, like no variability to it whatsoever. However, let's turn that off. I found there's a way to get the best of both worlds on this thing without a tremendous performance penalty. Maybe a little one, but not significant. So it's buried on here too. Where did it go? There is it's not the killer control center. Where is it? Here it is, Predator Sense. I'm going to put this on, I'm going to pin it to my start menu here. So the trick with this laptop, if you don't like fan noise, but you want the performance, is you go in here and you go over to, let's see, mode. You go to extreme. And what this will do, that's the temperature. Where is the mode? Yeah. So when you have it in extreme mode here, so you can see where it says max. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. I'll zoom in a little bit. So when I have it when it's in its default mode, the CPU frequency stays the same, but the GPU clock stops here. So there's definitely a performance disadvantage to running it default. Now, if you go to turbo, which we just did, that's when the fan goes bonkers. But extreme gives you that overclocking without the fan noise. And the fan will, of course, come on if it needs it, but that I found to be the happy medium. So you know, we'll get a pretty noisy fan once this gets cooking, but it's not awful like it was in the other mode there. So let me connect our drive here. Zoom back out here real quick, and we'll capture some game footage, and we'll see what we can get for image quality. You know what I could do is I could connect this up to my video system and do a direct capture. How would that sound? I could do that. So let's connect the drive first here. And then I'm going to connect the video cable. And we'll just mirror the display output. And this has an NVIDIA 3060 on board, I believe. And it's running at, I think, 105 watts. It's like, you know, it's the full powered thing. So the other problem you run into, and I discovered this the hard way, is that some of the newer gaming laptops, they have the same GPU, but they're powered differently. So that gets to be really confusing. Okay. Let me go back. I missed a whole bunch of questions. I'm so sorry I'm missing all your questions. I'm just blabbering on here, and I'm not responding to anybody. So let me go through. I need to try that. Didn't they just like shut that guy down with the VR thing? I'll have to check and see. And Jolt Dude, as I was talking, yeah, you're right. You can get 2 of the 3 sometimes. But today is a good deal because that Samsung, I think, like I said, I think that Samsung laptop with the OLED, I think, is the best price out of all the stuff we're looking at today. This one's on sale too, but not as much. And Fazal says the Samsung, yeah, a lot of good storage deals today. I'm going to go shopping for storage later. I need to get some more SD cards. I keep losing my micro SD cards. Corey was talking about Cyberpunk. I think this would run, this one definitely would. I'm pretty sure that other one would too with the settings turned down. If you turn the settings down, you can deal with it. The turbo button is back. Yes, it is. We're not pushing it though. Yeah, this is the one we looked at the other day. And Jolt Dude says that my table over there reminds him of a consignment store. Yeah, this is about the extent of my set design here, right? Like, oh, let me get a table out. Because I had all these laptops. Let me get a table out and just put them on a table. That's what we'll do. It did seem to work though, didn't it? So that works out. Yeah, it's bad. But that's why I think if you put it on this extreme mode, I think that's going to make it a little more palatable. And it does, and honestly, like, if it sounds loud to you guys, you should hear what it sounds like on the desk next to me. It is like super, super loud. There might be a fan profile thing. What I like to do though when I review these things is like, what's the consumer experience going to be like? And I know that most consumers are not going to dive into the thing there. Now there is a fan control here, so I can set it to maximum, or I can customize it. So I guess you could customize like a constant fan rate, but for me, I'm going to leave it on auto there. We got some, good analytics here, and you can adjust the lighting of the keyboard. So right now I don't have any lights on. A little dynamic maybe, a little wave action. Let's do that. So how do I turn the lighting on here? Let's see. Function F9, I think. There we go. It's a little drowned out by my studio lights, so it might be hard to see, but it is cycling through colors. I could turn the lights off if you want to see what it looks like. Here, let's do that real quick. Watch this. You want to see something cool? So I have a button on my phone here. I can just turn off my studio lights. And I can make the keyboard light up. Oops, I gotta do function. That's the brighter setting, I think. Yeah, so it's, it's marginally bright. I think the Lenovo ones are brighter. I actually, I like these Acers because they're less expensive oftentimes when you're shopping for stuff. I do prefer the Legion laptops. I feel like they're a little more solid. All right. So Grayson would love a laptop without the screen, and I bet you there was some company that had some modular things they were working on. And I guess you could get like a big old battery pack but yeah, you want to have like an all-inclusive. If I remember correctly, it was the Kangaroo mini PC that had a battery built in, so it could run on battery, kind of like how you described. All right, so now I have my joystick connected. I have my hard drive connected. So let's take a look at Steam here. I gotta log into my Steam accounts. The keyboard is nice on this, though. It does have a good amount of travel to it. And that's been something I'm seeing more and more now on these gaming laptops, is much deeper key travel. But they're not clicky. All right, so let's go and configure Steam. And Steam does this to me every once in a while. It gets hung up. Because it's not showing up in my taskbar down here. Oh, there it is. I'm going to try this again. I got to log in again. Hopefully I was logging into Steam when I thought I was. Oh, it's not getting on the network. Ah, that's because it's not on my network. So let me get it connected to my Wi-Fi here. This has Wi-Fi 6 on board. It's the killer Wi-Fi that you see on all the cool kids' machines. And while we're at it here, let's look at our display settings here. We are mirrored, so I can add the display. Hopefully this doesn't crash my system again. Okay, there we go. We got the thing roaring here. Okay. So the other question is, can this display run at 144? It is. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so this one is 60 and this one is 144. Okay. And it's 1080p, so it's going to upscale. If you're watching on the 4K stream, it's going to upscale it to 4K. All right. Yeah, framework is modular, but the screen is built in. My brother got one of those, and we reviewed it not too long ago. Actually, well, maybe a year ago when it came out. And those are, by the way, powered by those Evo processors. So what you saw on that Samsung, you would see on the framework. And it's a neat idea. Actually, my brother went to high school with the guy that founded the company. He's a very talented hardware engineer. So hopefully when they come up with something new, we can try to get that in. They've got a big hill to climb because I don't think, hate to say this, but consumers tend to go with the tyranny of the default, as they say. And I think consumers are not as concerned about modularity as you and I are, and upgradability. And even me to some extent. I bought a Mac. I can't do anything to this thing. It's like one big chip, the whole thing. Ozier wants to know, is this quad-core with hyper-threading? This is, let's see what processor this has. So this one has an i7-11800H. So it's the prior generation chip. The 11th generation did not last very long. And this has 8 cores and 16 total threads. So it does have hyper-threading. I remember my first computer that had hyper-threading. I was so excited. It looked like I had a dual-core machine in one. It was a Pentium, I think it was my Pentium MMX, the 233. And its clock speed was the same. This is the 233 Pentium, not the 2. So the very first computer I built was a 166 megahertz Pentium. I bought all the parts at a computer fair and pieced it together. And because the clock speed internally was double, it was a drop-in replacement for my 166 Pentium. So it like doubled the speed almost. It was cool. And I got the hyper-threading. So I'm pretty sure that Pentium was the first one with hyper-threading. All right, so now I'm going to load up the GeForce Experience on here because it will like automatically, I know it's kind of like cheating, but it will set all of my settings for me automatically, and we'll just kind of roll with it. I got to log into it. Screw it. Let's just do it this way. Hang on one second. Let me grab my... Oh, I think I need the GeForce Experience to get... Yeah, let's log in real quick. Sorry to delay of game here, but let's get this configured because I am going to be demoing this for my upcoming review. And it's got a 3060 on board, which I think is going to be pretty darn good. Hunter Brooks, thank you for the super chat. Any interest in the HP Dev 1? I am not familiar with that one. So I don't have that one here. So I can't comment on it in the sense that I haven't played with it. He daily drives Pop! OS. So yeah, I haven't played with that one yet. The big difference, and if it is a workstation machine, as you know, the workstation GPUs, and we have a Lenovo over there. Here, I'll zoom in on it. I can zoom in on this with this camera. Watch this. You want to see something cool? So if I go over my PTZ camera here, I can just zoom in. So this Lenovo is one that I have on hand. And this one has the, let me get rid of the title here real quick. Layers, let's just uncheck that and gone. This one has one of those workstation NVIDIA cards on it. And I did a review of this, which, you probably know the difference because you're a professional creative person. And just to remind everybody, Hunter, thank you for the super chat, by the way, is talking about kind of a professional grade workstation laptop, which is what this Lenovo one is. And believe it or not, even though these GPUs are super powerful on these workstations, they are not as powerful for gaming as a gaming laptop is because they're tuned for different things. And in the review that I did, it was really fascinating because I found some really neat benchmarks that exhibited exactly what the differences are between a workstation and a typical laptop kind of thing. Stand by here, folks. I'm just going to get into my GeForce Now accounts. There we go. And Ozair is asking, can you attach external graphics cards to this one? Yes. So this one has a Thunderbolt port right on the side here. So you can do that. But the 3060 on here is pretty good. So you would really have to be swinging for the fences on a beefier GPU, but it would support that. And, oh my goodness. All right, launch my Authenticator app. Okay, hang on one second, folks. One thing I would recommend, though, is that when you have an external GPU attached, don't have the internal screen lit up. And the reason for that is because it actually uses some bandwidth to bring video through the Thunderbolt back to the display. So if you turn off the internal display, you will notice that your performance goes up with an external GPU. All right, I'm in my Authenticator app. There we go. Okay, this is all just to get a frame rate counter. I probably could have used the game bar, right, for the Xbox game bar thing. All right, so let's go back to GeForce Experience. All right, skip. All right, and let's go to settings. And in-game overlay. HUD layouts. I'll put my frame rate counter. Performance up here. And we can do basic, or we can do advanced. We'll do advanced, 'cause I think people like the advanced stuff. All right. And now we've got that counter up there. Okay, let's see if that holds up. Okay, so now that we have that going, let me see. Is there a way to make this not transparent, though? Alt-R. Oh, I see. Alt-R brings it up. Let me go back to the settings here. And we can do like a basic FPS one, too. I think I'll leave advanced on. It's just that it's, I guess we can change it later if we need to. Okay, so let's do that. And now I'm going to move this out of the way. And let's go back to Red Dead. And can I adjust the settings? Yeah, I have to load it first. So we'll go ahead and hit play. You know what I'll do is I'll just adjust the settings up and we'll see how far we can push it. This has a 1080p display on it. So you're looking to replace a gaming laptop with something lighter. So is the HP Dev on sale today? Let me look that up real quick. Prime Day, HP Dev. So this is the HP, yeah, I'm not seeing it there, so maybe it's not on sale. So the Dev 1 laptop, I was looking on their website. Okay, hang on one second, folks. Be right back. Okay, we are back. Sorry about that. My kids were heading out, so I had to say goodbye to everybody. All right, so the HP Dev 1, I'm looking at it right now on their website. They call it the developer's laptop. It's got the Ryzen Pro on board. Does it have a GPU? I was looking at the specs here, so let me go over to the specs. So I think the only impediment you would have with this over a gaming laptop is that it doesn't have a discrete GPU. So I don't know what kind of work you're doing with photos or that sort of thing, or video, but the GPU-equipped laptops for photo editing, and if the app supports it, video editing, will do better. Although the Ryzens are great, so it's less noticeable. But you know, if it were me, I would be like, I wonder if this is where a MacBook Pro would come in, because, yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can get one in. I don't think I saw this. I was at a recent press briefing they had, and it wasn't there, so it must be really new. But that would be an area where I'd be like, I wonder if the MacBook Pro would work. And not to like, I know a lot of people aren't into Macs, but I got to tell you, I got the 14-inch MacBook Pro, and this thing is thin. The battery lasts forever. The performance is outstanding. I mean, I edit all my 4K videos on it. It's just awesome. And I don't know, I don't think I've seen Medion before. What is a Medion? And this is the second time somebody asked about the Nothing phone. I have no idea what the Nothing phone is. I must be living under a rock. Who's the Nothing phone? Oh, I saw that. Okay, yeah. I have no thoughts on it. I'd have to play with it. I don't even know if it's going to be available here in the US or not. I don't do a lot of phones on the channel just because everybody else does, so it's really hard to be competitive in that market. All right, so we're going to load up a little Red Dead Redemption 2 here. This is on the Acer Predator Helios 300 is what we have. And of course, Unbox Therapy. That's who you go to when you want something unboxed, right? And that's exactly why I don't review this stuff, because like all those guys just get it early, they get a lot of traffic, and you can't compete. So I focus on this kind of stuff. And Nothing is from an X1 Plus guy. Ah, interesting. It looks cool. It's like transparent, right? And Eston says, I'm looking fantastic today. Thank you. Yeah, I need a haircut. My hair's a little long. I like to keep it shorter, but I put some stuff on it to keep it under control here. All right, so we're loading up Red Dead again, and I'll be capturing footage for my upcoming review. And now that fan's kicking on. Can you all hear that? Now, one of the neat features of the controller that I'm using is that it has a switch at the bottom to switch modes. So this works on PC, Android, on Switch, and you basically just turn the switch here to put it into the mode you want to put it into. And it's got a rechargeable battery in here too. This is the 8-bit dough. It's on sale with a carrying case, and you got programmable buttons here at the bottom. You can actually adjust the stick sensitivity and dead zones and everything. I am a big fan of this controller. I've been using this for actually over a year now, I think. All right, so let's go into the settings here. Now let's see what we can dial up on the graphics side. So we're going to keep the resolution as is. What I am going to do, right now it's on balanced. Let's just crank it up and see what we get. So I'm on full favor quality is what I'm set to. Yeah, I'm going to leave it on favor quality. And we have DLSS on here, so we should enable that, right? All right, so let's do that. And we're going to apply the changes. Oops, shoot, I hit the wrong button. Graphics. Settings. You know what, it's the mapping on these buttons is the switch mapping, so let me do this again. All right, so we're going to go up to, we're going to crank it all the way up here. And then we're going to go over to, here, I'll give you the full screen view. And we're going to go over to DLSS, because this has DLSS on board, and I'm going to apply that. And we'll confirm that. All right, so now we're good. So now remember, the last laptop we looked at without a GPU, we put it at the lowest settings at 1080p. This is now the highest settings. And let's see if we can get, oh, we got frame counters on there, perfect. So we have the frame rate counter. And let me take off this thing so I can record some B-roll. So this is going to be, I'm going to throw this in my D drive, and we're going to make a new folder, and this is the Predator. Oh, great. Hang on a second, my computer's all laggy. This is the Predator Helios. All right, I'm going to save it right in here. Okay. Are you still with me? Yes, I think we're all still here. Okay. So now we're at 1080p, and this is at the settings you just saw. Wow, that fan, listen to it. I mean, the fan is just ferocious on this thing. All right, so we are, I'll record this here. Let me do like a little thing here. So we are at 57 frames per second at those ultra settings. So just under 60. So you could probably get it, I guess the DLSS is cheating a little bit, right? Yeah, so it's in the 50 mark here. This is a 3060. And I'm not shooting the dog. That's not nice. Think about the amount of design that goes into a game like this. Yeah, right now it's at 60. And obviously it does better when you're in these open meadows and stuff, right? It's when you have like a house to render that it, and people walking around is when it really starts to get impacted more. But yeah, pretty close to 60. And this is with the that maximum setting that we have enabled right now. So it'd be a little less if we had it on the lower quality. Not bad though, right? And Keith says, I heard the fan. Does that make me a super fan? And Smig says, I can't hear the fan noise. You got tinnitus. That's funny. Yeah, it's a noisy fan. I mean, most gaming laptops have noisy fans. This one, I'd say, is up there in the noise level. And Travis says if we turn the DLSS off, let's try it. So he thinks it might drop down to, so let's go in there and turn that off real quick. So go to graphics, and we'll do the DLSS will turn to off. Let's see, oop, I'm in the wrong spot. This is what happens when you have confused with touch screens. You get used to having those touch screens around, right? All right, so we're going to set DLSS to off. And I'm just going to leave these at their default just to see what it does. All right, so now let's jump back into the game. So DLSS is now off. Oh yeah, that dropped it significantly. Yeah, so now we're like 10 frames per second lower. Although it feels smoother, to believe it or not. So let me make a note of this. So let me go over to my Helios notes here. Yes, we don't have all the anti-aliasing turned up. But yeah, it's about the same, maybe a little bit less. But it's not crazy different. So it's about 56, 58, but that's what we were getting before. So, and we had it set to auto and not on specifically. So I wonder if we turn it on, what that might do. So let's go back to settings here. Jay Walton wants to know, what's the brand of the controller? This is an 8BitDo Pro 2. And this is on sale at Amazon. I got it in the link that you see in the video description. It's a Prime Day deal, $47 with a case. And I think it sells without the case for a little less. but it's a great controller. All right, so let's go over to DLSS. Is there an on quality? Oh, see, quality, balanced, or performance. So let's do it on quality. And let's see what that gets us. And of course now the stupid thing doesn't show up. There it is, okay. Yeah, you know what? Not much of a difference. Now it could be that, and this game takes advantage of DLSS, otherwise there would not be the option for it. Maybe it's improving. Would this matter more on a 4K display maybe? That could be, right? Because we're only at a 1080p resolution here. But I'm not seeing much of a difference with it on or off. So I bet you if we were running like 4K on this, that might make a difference. So Hunter was using a Mac for CS homework. The terminal is fine, but hates their graphical user interface. That's fair. Although you could now, if you get parallels, you can actually run ARM Linux distributions on the Mac in their own thing. But yeah, it looks good. All right, so I got what I needed out of this one. So we're going to switch gears now. And we're going to run, we'll do a little No Man's Sky. How's that sound? Oops, what did I do? Hit the wrong button. And we've got to sync our cloud up here. Ozair, thank you for the follow, by the way, on Amazon. All right, so let's load this up. What we're going to do with this is like we'll crank up the graphical settings and see what we get. Yeah, the fan is my only gripe on this one. It is loud. And I've seen a lot of laptop manufacturers build out their machines with larger fans. And Travis Rhodes, I just got a thing that says that you have been a member for 28 months. So thank you for your support. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how they're making that work. It runs great on the Steam Deck, so I'm sure there's probably some sorcery with NVIDIA that's making these games run better. But you know, another gripe I have, if I may add more gripes to today's gripe session, is that the, what was I going to say? See, I was losing my train of thought. What's interesting is that this is the settings I had for the Steam Deck earlier. It synced up the settings with the Steam Deck. But there's no way to centralize your save games on No Man's Sky. So they have a version on the Xbox. That one will sync to the PC version that you play on Game Pass, but not with the Steam version. And then if you get the PlayStation version, that's got its own save file, doesn't sync with the other versions. And then if you get like, whatchamacallit, the upcoming Switch version won't sync, right? So there's a lot of, because they run servers, they may as well just start hosting save files. But maybe, I would imagine it's a big deal to store all that. All right, so let me set the resolution here first. So that's better. And then we're going to go over to graphics options. Let's just crank this sucker up. Ultra, 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 ultra. And does this support DLSS? It does. So I'll leave it on balanced. Yeah, so this is really more designed for higher resolutions. So maybe we'll just leave it. It doesn't really matter at this range, right? So TAA and FXAA. All right, let's try this. And we got to restart the game. So let's quit the desktop. Yes, and we'll restart it. But this again has a 3060 GPU on board, so that makes a difference. Yeah, and Grayson has a very good point here too, that he has a visual impairment, so smaller screens don't help him. But the good news is, because you use larger screens, that this is one game that's on Game Pass. So if you have a Game Pass subscription, you can install it on your PC or on your Xbox. And those games will sync up. And poorly, that's a good point. You would think the fan base for bigger fans would be bigger. Yeah, so my the machine that I built for the production unit that's right over here that runs my stream, which by the way handles 4K live streaming, isn't that crazy? And recording. When I bought it, I put in these super big fans that are super quiet because they don't have to spin as fast to, move the same amount of air. All right, here we go. So now we are at ultra settings here. And we're getting about, yeah, actually it's not bad. A little bit of lag here as it's loading in. But that's pretty good. All right, so let's get this kind of set up here for recording. So I'm going to record this as I do my thing here. So let's hit the record button. Yeah, so it's about 55 frames per second right now at those ultra settings. And we'll get in the ship. I think I have fuel in my ship to take off. Let's see. Nope, not enough fuel. All right. Let me go and refuel my ship. I never have enough fuel in my launch thruster. So let's do this. I have a little bit of uranium left. That'll get us off the ground. And what we'll do is we'll travel to another planet and see how we do over there. And in the space scenes, this is where this game does really well. It doesn't have as much graphical overhead. I have a fleet. You want to see my fleet? Let me summon them. I haven't recruited fighters yet. That's my next step. But yeah, I'll recruit my battle cruiser. Isn't that a cool looking capital ship? And then my other ships should be coming in. There they are. So I have like a fleet of ships here. That one got damaged. I got to repair that one eventually. And so this is like 92 frames per second. So in space, you do a lot better. And then these other ships are just like non-player NPC kind of deals. All right, so let's go. Why don't we fly over? Let's see what other planets we got here that look interesting. This one's not too far away. This one is a fragmented planet. I think this one might be a warmer climate. Let's see. A scorched planet. Yeah, we'll go do this one. And Ian got a good deal. Oops. 10th gen i3, $200. That is a deal. Yeah, there's some good deals. Those scheduled deals are good. I think that, like I said, I think that Samsung we looked at a little while ago, that one's probably your best bet for today, if you're looking for a deal, right? This one isn't bad. I think for the price, this one with a 3060 for $1,100 is not bad either. All right, so let's do some recording here. And we'll set her down right over here. In this game, the frame rate will vary dramatically depending on what's going on in the game. So you see it was like 30 frames per second, and then it went to 42. Oh, it's a funky world. Yeah, so on this planet, we're running at like 35 with those super high settings. And you saw on the other planet it was doing better. And that's the problem with this game is that, is why I like playing this one, is that everything is so variable because it has, you know, everything is just is procedurally generated. So the processor load is never the same. You know, so on this planet with a lot of rendered items, you know, we're in the 30 frames per second territory. But on other planets, it's faster, so that gives you an idea. And there's all this stuff that it's having to render on these structures. You can destroy that one, a little cobalt. So now if we get back in the spaceship and fly to a different planet, you'll see that the frame rates will be better on another planet. So let's go find the spaceship. This is one funky planet. I think you never quite know what you're gonna land on when you're playing this game. So now we'll take off again, and we'll go fly to a different planet, and you'll see a very different frame rate. And Travis says this game is, yeah, this does have a learning curve to it. There's a lot of crafting involved. It's, there's a lot of tiers to get to where you're going. It can be a little complicated. Now that's the planet we were on because that's where my capital ship is. So let's see what else we got. We have this planet, which we haven't discovered yet. This was the bleak planet. And then it looks like this planet has a moon right over there. Let's see if we can fly over to that real quick. Where'd that moon go? Or you could say that's no moon. So this is the planet we were just on. Let's see. And are we on the... Oh yeah, we've exceeded the 55-minute mark without YouTube dropping out today. That's good. All right, let's go take a spin. And I'll be taking a break in a little bit, and then I'll be back with more streaming. I've got some more stuff. I'm going to go hunt around for some computer accessory deals and see what we can track down. But we'll capture the rest of the footage that I'm looking to capture here. All right, let's see if we can find something else to land on. What's this one? That's where we were. That's the unmapped planet that we haven't been to yet. This one is a frozen planet. I'm in the mood for bleak today. Let's bleak it out. So what causes dropouts? You know, that's a good question. YouTube has been trying to fix this for me. I guess not that many people stream in 4K, so I think that's part of the deal there. Sharon Peters, hey girlfriends, happy Prime Day. Happy Prime Day to you. This is the day in which we remember Optimus Prime, who died for all of us. All right, so here we go. We're going to land on this planet. This is a bleak planet, which should perform better than the fragmented planet we were just on. Let's take a look and see. There's a body of water down there, I think. Yeah, looks like there's a little bit of a lake there. And every one of these planets is unique. And you can build bases on them. Like, there's all sorts of neat stuff that you can do. They have day and night kinds of things that go on there. And you can see here now we're at, in the 50 frames per second range, just because there's less to render. Yeah, it's actually doing about the same as it was before also. Okay. But this is like ultra everything, so that's part of why it's dogging a bit. I would say like high 40s, low 50s. And it looks like it's having some trouble rendering in everything, so let that finish. Sometimes that's a disk loading issue because I am running this off of a external hard drive. But yeah, we could set up a base here. We could do all sorts of cool stuff. And what's neat is that some planets have like other planets that are very close to them, so you can see the moons in the sky. You do have a day-night cycle. There's stuff underwater too, so we could jump in the water over here. I don't have a breathing apparatus. But you can build underwater bases. And there's different creatures underwater than above water. And there's cave systems, space stations, you name it. There's a lot. And oh yeah, there's also a VR version of this. So and there's no difference. So if I put my headset on, I would be loading this game up in virtual reality right now. Like there's no barrier. And you got all these weird creatures, and the creatures are unique on each planet. So they have like a bunch of pre-rendered assets that they've come up with, and then it mixes and matches things. But no two creatures are alike. Yeah, I'll show you my spaceship here. And you can. What's fun in VR is to like watch the atmosphere bleed away, and because in VR you can look all around you. This is all in 3 dimensions. It's really wild. All right, so we'll go out a little bit here, and I'll summon my fleet. All right, so now I will summon my capital ship. There we go. And we'll go ahead and land on it. There's an asteroid in the way, as you'll see here. We'll just go right through that because in No Man's Sky, the universe is a simulation, so that's how it works. And Grayson's having some dropouts on his end. I think it might be due to your mobile connection, though. Ilya wants to know, I have a lot of hours into this. It's funny, I played more of it before they started fixing it. Because I was trying to get to the center of the universe, and then I just kind of gave up. What's been funny about this save game that I have is that this is my ship, by the way. Now, I have other ships, but they disappeared. I don't know what happened to them. So that's my other ship over here. So that one's mine, and then these 2 landing are other ships from non-player characters. So you can actually buy these from the people that visit you. So like this little guy comes out here, and I can make a deal on his ship. I'm an interloper. So let's see what his ship is looking like. So this is like a Class B ship. So probably not worth it. I'm a Class A or S guy. But all the ships are procedural also, so they all look different. And I like my little fighter that I have. But I have a lot of hours into this. And we got a super chat from Shin Chikichin. Thank you for the super chat. Just ordered an M2 Air, guessing it will throttle when trying Dolphin. I would be, yeah, it'll throttle a little bit, but it's so efficient. I think it might do okay. Some folks had suggested maybe getting like a cooling pad. You know, they have these laptop stands with fans on them. That might be the best way to do it. So he's got a Class B freighter. So I guess I could recruit him to be a fighter pilot in my squadron, but he doesn't. I want to have like a fleet of fighters. I don't want a bunch of cargo ships. And then what I'm doing now is I'm going up to my control center here, because in my control center, I have a mission that just completed with my fleet. So you send your fleet off, and they come back with money and treasure. And you hope that the ship survives the mission. And you could add like base components to, like as is mentioned, this is a very complex game, and there's a lot to it, and there's really no end to anything. It just keeps going. So people play it in very different ways. But I'll show you one other thing in a second here. So let's debrief the commander. Oh, my freighter inventory is full. This is the other problem. Just like Animal Crossing, your freighter gets filled with stuff. So I've got to move some things around here. So what I'm going to do first here is I'm going to free this up, and I'm going to load my hyper. Oh, I only have, so I still have 3 warp cells left. I do have room here, so I guess it wants me to get rid of some of this stuff. Carbon crystal. So I'm going to move this to my exosuit. I guess I ran out of room there. So we'll throw this onto my cargo. The cryo pump here. What's this thing worth? Oops. So yeah, you got to do a lot of inventory management on this game. That's worth 4.5 million units. Look at that. I'm going to sell that at some point. I got a lot of money. So you see I have 638 million credit units. And I have to sell some of this stuff. I haven't just gotten around to doing that yet. So I will get rid of a lot of these things. And I have a storage container that I can put stuff in too. So maybe I'll throw this in the storage container. Throw that in there. And the cryo pump I'm going to put on my starship. And now I should have enough room to get my results of my mission. So let's see what happened here. And debrief commander. Oh, my freighter inventory is still full. What are they giving me? I must have gotten a lot of stuff from this trip. So we'll come back to that, but you get the idea. And then I have a bridge where we can warp to different places. So for example, and I like to use my starship's warp instead of my fighter, because the starship can go further. Now what's crazy about this game is that every star that you see, you can visit if you have the right stuff. So for example, if I wanted to look at this star here, I could just warp there. But we're going to look at a different one. Oops, let's go up here. So the green ones are interesting. But I need to get a chromatic warp shield. So you see how like you need different things to go different places? And let's go to the galactic core. So what the galactic core one does, it charts out a course that you need to take to get to the core. When you get to the core, you can get access to another universe. So there's basically like there's just no end to this. And most of the planets that you encounter, I mean, it is very rare that I actually encounter another player or anything that a player has discovered. Okay, let's go here just for the heck of it. So we'll take a little warp. Yeah, this will consume you. This is the kind of game that like I think about like how some of the more immersive games in the 8-bit days were, like Elite and those types of games, the original. You know, they really captured your imagination like this one does. And there's a multiplayer element to it, so you can play with other people. And if you just happen to come across them, you will interact with them. So it's always online, essentially. It doesn't have to be. And then anytime you discover a planet, you can put it into the database, which is really cool. So now we're in a different star system, different suns. So it looks like a binary system. And let's see what we got for planets here. So what I usually do is look at the planet landscape. See what this, so you do a scan and it'll tell you what it is. A chromatic fog planet. This one is a lifeless planet. There's a bunch of planets here. This one looks like a frozen one. Let's see. Chromatic fog sounds interesting. This is an overgrown planet. That one might be cool too. That's the space station. Every region has a space station also. That one's contaminated. I think I'm going to go for the fog. And I got to fuel up my pulse engine now. And some of these elements are in the asteroids, so you can just grab it wherever. And I'm running out of tritium fuel, so we'll have to, we may not have enough fuel to get to the planet here. We'll see. And this game is No Man's Sky. And BB Garnett is joining us. And I have not seen that phone. There we go. Yeah, I don't look at a lot of smartphones. I look for like smartphones that no one else is looking at, essentially. David Duarte, thank you for the follow on Amazon. All right, we're getting closer to our chromatic fog planet. All right, here we go. Let's see what kind of chromatic fog we get. And we got to play another game in a minute too, so give me some recommendations. Maybe we'll look at something on Game Pass. Well, there's a lot of deep valleys on this one. Look how deep these mountains are. This looks pretty cool. This might be a fun one to look at in VR. So every time they update the game, which is very frequently, a lot of times they create, it is foggy. They create more diversity in the planets, because for a while, like, you know, like the planets, like you'd land on a planet, they were all different, but they were very similar at the same time. You know, like they had the same. So they don't have planets yet that have multiple so right now we're getting blood rain, which means that you can't stay out very long unless you have a specialized suit. But what we can do, oh, my inventory is full. So those crystals that are glowing there are worth a lot. But my inventory is full. Where'd my ship go? Over there. So we'll get back on the ship before we get killed here. But this storm will pass, and then things will get a little nicer out. So you just write it out in your ship. Pretty cool. But yeah, it's a fun game. Okay. So let's get out of this one. And then we'll grab, I'll do like one or two more. I think I'll go on my Game Pass account and see what I have over there. And those we'll have to download the games on. So I think what I might do is plug in some Ethernet to speed up that process. Now this laptop has Ethernet built in, so I can just plug in my network cable on the side here. And that way I can download stuff a little faster. Now I do have Doom Eternal, so let's do that one. And we just need to check my cloud status real quick. So we will run that real quick. All right, so let that load. So if you have a Game Pass account, it is on Game Pass. Oh, it wants me to update my drivers. So we've been running with the, I'm pretty sure I updated my drivers on this before we started playing here. I guess not. All right, so let's go to drivers here. And we'll just download the driver real quick. This won't take very long. I have a very fast connection here, so we should be okay on that front. And we will appease the folks here. Oops, I downloaded it already. Let's see. All right, so I downloaded the driver. I may have to do this manually because it is downloading it, but it's not actually installing it. What's up with that? Driver download failed. All right, let me go to the. So this is a 3060 GPU. So I will pull up the Firefox browser here and just download it manually. Geez. There is a lot of bloatware on this one, more than I would like typically. And this is a GeForce 3060. And we'll download this real quick. Yeah, I was thinking about doing something like that because I often look at, like, when we do review laptops for a long time, the ones that we were reviewing couldn't handle much of anything insofar as games were concerned. So it's always been fun to see what we can try to get working. And by the way, if you're watching, we still have some other ones we can look at, although I'm going to probably take a break in a few minutes and reset. But I will show you what else we have in the fleet here. Let me pull up my other camera. So we've looked at half of them, right? We haven't looked at the Legion yet, but we did look at the Samsung, the Acer. So we have 6 total. We looked at the Samsung, the Acer Chromebook, and now we are looking at the Acer Predator. Huh. You know what's weird is that these downloads are failing. Oh, you know what it is? It's this stupid Norton thing that's doing this. I'm going to get rid of that Norton thing. That's what's happening. So this Norton thing is blocking, it's not even like a virus that it's detecting, it's just not letting me download stuff. Norton Security Ultra. You are leaving. You are leaving. Matt K, hello there. Good to see you. Yeah, we've been going for, how long have we been going for here? This is hour 2. Just about 2 hours. I'm going to take a break in a little bit, and then I'll come back. All right, so we're going to uninstall this one. Yeah, so Norton was our culprit here. That's why. So it was downloading, and then Norton was like not allowing the download to complete. And what I don't get is like, what's the relevance of this guy hiking in the mountains? To, I don't think I would bring this big old computer with me like that. All right, let me restart here, and we'll figure it out. Yeah, by the way, battery life on these things is pretty bad. Especially if you're playing games on them. And even the Steam Deck, which is designed as a portable system, doesn't do very well, does it? Like 2 hours on a involved game. All right, we are back. And now we can install the driver. And then we can play the game. It's like a step-by-step, right? And this is PC gaming at its best, is that there's always something you got to install. All right, so let's download the game-ready driver here again. It was weird because it was getting all the way through, right? And then it was conking out on us. So, Matt K, I think what you could do is you could do the @ symbol like Frosty Winnipeg did here, and then that person will see it in the chat. Like it'll be more, like it'll highlight it for that user. And Chris Allegretta is here. I forgot to say hello to you. Thanks for coming in. I used to use, Symantec back in the day also, like way back in the day. All right, so now we're downloading that. Oddly, it feels as though my Ethernet speed now is less than it was before. Let me look at what's going on here. It only negotiated at 100 megabits when it came back up. What the heck is going on with that? Let's reset that. There we go. Yeah, so on the reboot, it didn't detect it as a gigabit. Now it's saying the cable's unplugged. And the download's still failing. Well, we may have to come back to this one. I wonder if I need to log in. Well, this is logged in as me. Yes, driver download failed. What if there's some like weird permissions issue going on here or something? I downloaded other stuff before, so what's going on here? Let's see. Security. I bet you there's probably some weird user thing going on. So I'm going to change. This has like the default user that this computer shipped with. And I'm going to sign in with my Microsoft account and see, because we want to do some Game Pass anyhow, so that might be. All right. Yeah, I think if you want the best battery life, bring a generator with you. That'll fix it. Right, almost there. And we just need to type in my code here. Almost there. So I'm guessing this might have been a permissions issue. And this wouldn't be something the user would encounter. This is how they set up the machine. But now, let's see if that did it. Because now I'm authenticated with a user and a password. And hopefully that rejiggered the settings. The odd thing, though, is that this Ethernet, where it was a gigabit before, is now only running at 100 megabits. So I don't know if we have to update our Ethernet drivers now or something, but that's not good. Or maybe something got bent in there, I don't know. Or it just doesn't like the cable. What I have found is that some of these like Cat 8 cables just don't work well on some of these older gigabit Ethernet connectors. Yeah, it's still failing. I am stumped here, folks. I thought it was the Norton that was doing that, but it doesn't seem to be. Let me try downloading this on Edge and see if that might make any difference here. And let's see if our connection is better now than it was before. Yeah, now we're at, oh, it's using the Wi-Fi now. Okay, now we're back at a gigabit. Okay, so that was a weird issue also. All right, so let's go back to drivers. I'm still betting there's some weird thing that is happening here. All right, let's download the driver here and see if that works on this. All right, so now we're downloading from NVIDIA's website. Okay, that seemed to work. So there's some weird permission issue going on here, but switching browsers seemed to fix it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Norton. So this has a metal jacket on it, yeah. So I don't know if what that is. But, and you're fine, Matt K, don't worry about it. Chris Allegretta will tell you when it's not okay. All right, so let's go back here. Yeah, so we'll just reinstall everything here. We'll do the Express installation, and then we can play the game and record some more B-roll. And we'll get there. I got some new followers to thank. Lori on Amazon just gave me a follow. Thank you very much for that. on this Prime Day. I haven't even done my Prime Day shopping yet. You all are getting better deals than I'm getting. I should start looking for stuff. See, the problem with me on Prime Day is I don't know what I need. So that's part of what I run into. Although, I was waiting on buying micro SD cards, so maybe I will buy micro SD cards today. That might be what I look for. So the terabyte card is on sale for $150. I don't know if the other cards are, though. So the 256 is $35.99, and the 128 is $22. So an extra $100 and change gets you to a terabyte. I'll have to think about that. I don't need a 1 terabyte card, but the notion that you could store a terabyte on a micro SD card is just mind-blowing to me. S. Poon wants to know, is it good for the Steam Deck or too much? No, I think that's the, I'm assuming you're referring to the terabyte card. No, that should be fine. It's a UHS-1 card. And again, what I recommend people look for is the A2 on it. So you want an A2 card if you're planning to use it with a Steam Deck or on a game console, because it's better rated for the random reads and writes that a game is going to do. All right, so the driver has finished. So now, my goodness, so many things pop up. You know, I was excited when Microsoft went to Edge, you know, when they switched to the Chrome engine, but they have just put in so much garbage on it. It just drives me crazy. Okay, so let me go over to back into Steam. I got to log back into my Steam account. Although I am now able to do the Game Pass stuff. So I think what I'm going to do, because I have Doom on Steam, and it's already installed, so we'll do that one to grab some footage. And that's going to run real nice on this. And hopefully we don't get the error that we got before. Any good deal on Wise products today? I didn't see too many this year. And it's hard with their stuff because it's so inexpensive. So it looks like the Wise lock is on sale, the scale, and there's a few things. The Wise plug is on sale. That's a good deal. $8.30. That's a good smart plug. I use those all over the house. But not a lot of stuff. They have their multi-chromatic light bulb for $11. The scale is $40. All right, so we got to get this going real quick here. And what I'm going to do is set the settings up on this one. So let me add the video input back in again here. Okay, so we're going to do the settings. I'm assuming that's under Customize. No. So maybe when you're in Campaign is where you do the, oh, it's over here, down at the bottom. Okay, so let's go over to Video. And it is a 16:9 display. So this was synced up from our prior session. So VSync is off, HDR is off. Present from compute, I don't know what that means. overall quality. We're going to go to Ultra Nightmare. Why not? Because we got some horsepower here, so let's see how that does. And right stick applies changes. Oh, can't do that. Okay, so we've got to do, so maybe we can do Nightmare. Insufficient VRAM. So where does it tell me how much VRAM I have left? All right, that one it took. So Ultra is where we can leave it. All right, Ultra. Oops. Okay, so now we've got it on Ultra. Let me just make sure that is the case. Okay, so we're good on Ultra. Ultra. All right, so let's go. S. Poon, glad I could be of help. That's what I'm here for, to answer questions on Prime Day. So if you have questions, let me know. Yeah, my take is, I'm seeing some discussion about SD cards, is that a lot of times my SD cards would often involve me doing a client project, and I didn't want to risk it. So I've never had an issue with the SanDisk cards, which is why I kind of tend to gravitate towards those. All right, let's see. There we go. Yeah, so Ultra here, no surprise. We're getting well north of 60 frames per second here, in the 70s. Just imagine what this would have been like if like the 12-year-old me had seen these graphics that we would have today. It's crazy. I do like how they kept the mechanics of the creatures shooting at each other if one happens to get to the other one. All right, so we're good there. All right, so let's do a Game Pass game or two. Yeah, I think the A1 cards are probably fine on the Switch. I think it's some of these PC games that expect a more, performance-wise, expect a more traditional hard drive kind of experience. All right, so let's load up the Xbox app here. All right, take me to the games. All right, so go to Game Pass. All PC games. Oh, we need an update. Of course we need an update. It's a PC. It needs to be updated. There's 44 updates here. So let's get that Xbox app updated, and then we can do the other ones. So let's do the Xbox Identity Provider. Xbox did update, so that's good. Okay. So Game Pass. So Game Pass, people were getting confused on my Steam Deck review because I think a lot of people hear Game Pass and they assume, it's kind of funny that they're assuming this, that Game Pass is streaming, which it is, but that's the newest part of Game Pass. It's been almost entirely a download, all-you-can-eat thing for a while. All right, let's get something that can be a little demanding here. Most popular. Oh, Mortal Kombat 11. Is that the newest one? How big is it? It is 152 gigabytes. Maybe we could try something smaller. That won't take an hour and a half to download. How big is Halo Infinite? That one is only 67 gigabytes. So let's do that one. Yeah, I kind of want to do the high-res textures. And I'll skip the campaign, and that might make it a little quicker. So we'll let this download real quick. BB Garnett had his dad had a work computer back in the day, had Pac-Man and Doom on it. Ooh. Wonder if he was running an emulator on it or something. Yeah, so let this download real quick and we'll pick it back up from there. Oh, so it looks like Micro Center is selling stuff on Amazon, huh? Let's take a look. Micro Center SD card. Yeah, my thing would be is just make sure there's a good brand name behind it. You know, so Micro Centers I'm comfortable with, right? But there's no A rating on those cards, so they'll be fine for a camera. But what you want to look for is like an A2 rated card for playing games on it. And we'll let this download real quick. So it's downloading at about 50 megabytes per second. And we'll let this continue. And if you have questions about our other laptops, we've got more here. Prime Day laptops. So I've got these are all on sale. We started with the Chromebook in the second from the right. We also looked at the Samsung one, and now we're looking at the Acer Predator. And I'm just trying to capture some B-roll for an upcoming review, so I figured this would be a good opportunity to do that. And then the controller is this fun one, this 8-bit DOE, also on Prime Day special today. And it's a nice controller. So this is with a case selling for $48 on Prime Day, because today is Prime Day. Yeah, so I'll probably come back on a little later this afternoon with a bunch of PC accessories that I find of interest. So stay tuned for that. But we shall wait and see how this one is coming along here. Sure does take a while for these games to load in. And that's with like a multi-gigabit connection too. That's kind of the tricky thing, right? But wait, we shall, right? We'll just keep hanging out until it shows up. I got all the time today. I blocked out all day today for Prime Day stuff. And let me know like what accessories you might be looking for, and I'll poke around and see what I can find. And yes, my live streams, if you go to Lon.TV/live streams, you can see all of my old ones. So they're all archived, for better or for worse. Neuropilot wants to know, have you seen the mini computer type terminals for business in the 70s that couldn't afford? A friend has, oh, I don't think I've seen those. I remember those big floppy drives. So Trent wants to know, what's the best Prime Day deal? Well, I think that Samsung OLED laptop is pretty good. That one's on a pretty good price. I'm not seeing any good ham radio deals, though, Trent. You got to get more people into this hobby so that they buy more ham radio stuff and make it a good deal available for us. And it looks like my connection is it's really downloading pretty slowly here. Hang on, let's take a look and see what's going on here. All right, it's still maintaining a gigabit connection. It looks like it's just slow goings from Microsoft server here. We'll keep going. Yeah, and this is really what I found is I have yet to find anything beyond like the speed tests that can actually, exceed a full amount of bandwidth here. So S. Poon is looking for a webcam. Well, if you have a microphone, the webcam that I think is a nice one is the Elgato webcam, the face cam. I think that's what they call it. I have one somewhere in this mess. It does very, very well. You know what I might do that might be kind of fun later this afternoon is maybe hook up all of the TV boxes that are on sale and just show them all next to each other. It might be kind of a fun project. I have enough capacity to do all that. Let's see. So I'll give you a little tip on searching for laptops, which I can do on here while this is going here. So let me go to Amazon. So here's a tip. When you are on Amazon for Prime Day, what you want to look for up at the top here is the search and select Prime Day because it's available just on Prime Day. And we can look for stuff. So if you are looking for a Samsung tablet, just type it in and see what you get. And the Z Fold is there for a lot of money. So the Galaxy Tab A8 is on sale for $160. I should have bought one of these ahead of time. I think I reviewed the A7 Lite. Yeah, there's a bunch of tablets on sale. None of which I have reviewed, but if you click through the link there and do a search, you'll be able to find a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I could use that. I want 25% off somebody coming to my house to put an antenna up. I'm like struggling on the antennas and which cables to get and how to get them into the house and how to get them on the roof and all that kind of stuff. And I can't find anybody to do it. It's crazy. And Hunter is going for his test in August. Great. Are you studying with something? I was using Ham Test Online that Trent recommended to me, and that really helped. And I got my technician license. And if you study up everything and do some practice exams, you're going to be fine. I got all but one of the questions correct on my test, I believe. All right, we're almost there. We're halfway there. And then we can try a little Halo on this one, and then maybe I'll take a break, and we'll come back with some more stuff in a little bit. And I think my next one, I'm just going to go search through. So like I said, I have all this stuff. So I'm going to go through what's on sale, and I'll put together a little live stream that we'll do maybe later this afternoon, early evening, of just all the deals that I found that are decent. And yeah, that's the one issue with a lot of these webcams is many of them don't have a built-in microphone. So the Logitechs, I think, are always the best. And let's take a look here and see if Logitech has any. So generally, they're so in demand, they don't usually put them on sale. So they have their Creator Stream Cam, which I don't think has a microphone built in, does it? And their C615 1080p camera is on sale. But yeah, the good one is the 4K camera they have, which is not. And Matt got his technician license last week. Congratulations. And Trent did help me out quite a bit. So Trent, when I was talking about the SDR, Trent was going through, we actually went through these things at the same time, which was kind of fun. All right, we're almost there. And once we're there, we will mess around with some Halo Infinite, see how that does. Yeah, the one that I did and the one that Trent did was really good for that. So I would definitely check that out. All right, we're almost there. And then we'll do a little Halo Infinite, capture some B-roll on that. And then I think we will move on to something else. Because we did Red Dead. So I'm trying to find like more modern things to really show off what the system can do. The problem though, again, is that these games are so big. And even with like a super fast connection, it takes a while to get them onto the system. Did I close that out by accident? Let's see, Xbox. I think it downloads in the background, so I don't think we lost any opportunities here, but. Yeah, we're still going. Eventually it does let you like play it even before it's fully downloaded, I think, but let's see what it takes here. It's like watching paint dry, though. That's for sure. But we still have some other laptops here. So maybe what I'll do while that is downloading is I will show you the Legion. So let me grab that one real quick. Now this is a different color than what's being sold, but it's the same basic hardware. And these Legions are great. So here, I'll pull it up on the screen here. And these are by far, there's a bunch of different ones. These are the AMD ones that they're selling on Amazon. But what I like about the Legions is that they have great keyboards. They are plastic. They're not, terribly, the build quality isn't going to be up there with their, so there's a Legion 5 and there's a Legion 7. So this is the Legion 5. And hang on here, let's take a look. So great keyboard, very solidly constructed, great cooling system, great display. If I was choosing, I would probably go with the Legion over the Acer just because I've had a lot of experience with these, and I actually use a Legion, an older Legion, for a lot of my production work on the road, and they've always been really good experiences. And the ones that are on sale are the Legion 5s with the Ryzen chips on board. And the one that I'm pointing you at has a Ryzen 5 5600H, 8 gigs of RAM, and a 3060, very similar to what the performance would be out of this one. You still have a pretty noisy fan on any of these, but I think it'll perform pretty well. So this is one that I've always been fond of, especially just the overall build and the keyboard. Everything is just nice on these. No Thunderbolt, though. So if you wanted to do an external GPU, you're going to want the Intel version. So the AMDs are limited. Actually, I don't think any of the Legion 5s have Thunderbolt. The Legion 5 Pro might, but mostly they're limited to USB Type-C. But they are good machines. And Jeffrey Power says, I don't need a microphone. That's right. So how have you been doing there? Did you stream today? I saw you pop on earlier. So I am just getting close to the end of my first shift here. And then I'll pop back on a little bit later. But I like having a built-in microphone on my webcam for my Zoom calls and stuff, because I don't like having to mic myself and go through that rigmarole for a meeting or whatever. Okay. Almost there. Oh, it's done. Perfect. Just in time. So we found some way to kill the time. So now we're going to play Halo Infinite on the 3060. And let's see how this does. All right, allow the thing here. And I have it on the on just the multiplayer version, but I think I'll try to do like a bot match or something so it's not as not as crazy. Okay, so let that load up. But I love Game Pass. You do have to download the games, but it's part of the deal there. And Jeff, thank you for the follow. How many hours have I been at this now? This is our we're at the 2.5 hour mark. So yeah, we're going to take a little break in a little bit, and then I'll reset and do a PC accessory kind of deal. Remix Plum is here. Yeah, we're having a good day today. I think everybody is, right? Doing our live stream. This thing takes a while to load, my goodness. I'm guessing this is like a one-shot loading thing. Okay, enter to play. I would like to play. Okay, so let's go over to video. And we got our 3060 here. I'll pull this up on screen so you can get a better view of it. I'm going to hide our thing for now. So 1080 we're going to stick to. Maximum frame rate, I'm going to crank this up to the native resolution of the display. Now where do I set my, here we go. So quality preset. I'm liking that more and more games have this now. So we can't go to ultra, but we can do high, which is right at the maximum there. But I think I'm going to push it and see what we get. All right, so I'm going to hit back here. Oops. And we'll do bot boot camp. I guess to watch a cinematic, is that required? I guess it must be. Uh-oh. Crash. Probably because we were pushing the limits too much on that. I wonder what this has for video RAM on it, because that could be the limiting factor here. Let's take a look. So apparently it has 6 gigabytes of VRAM on board, but that's not enough for this. So let's go back to our settings. Yeah, so it's right at the limit there, so that's probably what's limiting it. So we have to like make some adjustments here. So what I think I might do is dial this to medium. Let's see if that fares better. Did it just crash again? I think it did. We're having some trouble with this machine today, aren't we? So we did look at a cheap Chromebook earlier. I think it's cheap for what you get. So if you click on my link, the first item that you'll see on the carousel is the Chromebook 514. And at the beginning of the stream, we were showing that off. And it is a very good performing machine. I'm really pleased with it. All right, let me go adjust these settings one more time here. All right, so we're at that setting there. So let's go back to the menu. I may have just like signed out completely. Go back to our bot boot camp. And let's see what we get. Now, I'm surprised as a Game Pass holder, I don't get the premium because it keeps asking me to do some premium thing. And let's see, so okay. Here we go. I think it's going to load now. It looks pretty good. We must be Team Eagle. Yes, this is like around 84 frames per second. And I get killed even by the bots. See how that works. Oh, it just froze up again. And it crashed. Well, that'll be something to talk about, won't it be? All right. Okay. So I am going to take a bit of a break here. And what I would suggest you do is set your notifications. If you're not following me on Amazon, give me a follow over there. because apparently it will notify you when I go back live again. So we're going to be coming back in a little bit. I'm going to collect a bunch of what's left in the aisles, the virtual aisles, and do a little more streaming because I have some more stuff that I see is on sale today. So I will be back in a little bit. It's about 2 o'clock now, so I'll probably come back on like around 5 or 6 or so with some more stuff. So I'll probably grab a little dinner and then come back on and get some of my other work done for the day here. But we were able to do a look at some laptops, and we still have more up here. So we did get through the Legion. We didn't do the Victus yet, and we didn't do the workstation from Lenovo, but we did get a lot of the other stuff covered here in this time, and I was able to get some B-roll captured on this one, which I'll be reviewing a little later this week. Because this one, I think, it's on sale today, and I think will likely get on sale again later because they have a new version with a slightly faster Intel chip, but I don't think it's going to make a big difference in performance. So that one's going to be, this one's going to be, I think, still pretty relevant. So there you go. All right, well, thank you, Jeff, Nico, and Cameron McCormick for the follows. And my link, if you're on YouTube, is in the video description. So I will be back before you know it. And we'll have some more fun with laptops and other technology devices. So stay tuned, and I will catch you all later this afternoon. Bye for now.